Hello and a very warm welcome. Manchester United's season review. Wow, what a roller coaster of a season it was, and an embarrassment to the name Manchester United. Them players disgracing the shirt week in, week out. And a whole review, I could sum it up in 10 seconds. Manchester United's season was a shit show from the get-go, finishing 6th, just beating West Ham to 35 off City, 34 off Liverpool. Disgraceful. The owners, big problems. Woodward finally out. Just poor. Ollie got the sack. Ralph came in. Poor. Ralph's got no power, and his results in charge was pretty bad. But yeah, he had no power. He had no control. Ten Hag comes in. As a season, I mean, we look down there, sickening, shambolic, not fit to wear the shirt, frauds. We could go on for 5 minutes. Embarrassing. You go through the whole team, sell a lot of them, apart from David De Gea, Ronaldo and Sancho. 3 men come out with a bit of praise. Okay, you'll probably give Varane another season, Elanga maybe. But Ole and Ralph, shocking. The players, shocking. Giving players big contracts when they should be out the door. And every time we have a defeat, it's the PR bullshit that Manchester United put out. And that's embarrassing. We lose to Crystal Palace. You want a break, and the club on Monday are posting a Ten Hag interview. It stinks from top to bottom. It stinks to high heaven. The bullshit that we've been fed. And we've had to put up with it all season. The season was over when we got knocked out the FA Cup to Middlesbrough. A championship side in Middlesbrough. Then we get beat by a poor Atletico Madrid, who City, Liverpool just wiped the floor with. But we're not very good. So there's so many problems. The season was a disgrace. Not fit to wear the shirt. You go through the team, you've got a pensioner on the bench in Lee Grant. What's the point? Delo, a reason he went to AC Milan is shite. Wan-Bissaka, nowhere. What's happened to him? Telles, shock him. Then you go to the centre-backs. Phil Jones, big contract. Shithouse, should have been out the door 8 years ago. Maguire, awful. Shouldn't have the captain's armband. Lindelof's always got a mistake in him. Bailly's injury prone. Then you get into midfield. Fred, McTominay, can't pass a parcel. Matic, Mata, pensioners once again. You're closer to a bus pass. And they're still here conning a living, although them two will be out. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Then you get into Marcus Rashford, wants to piss around on television rather than actually being a professional footballer. The Portuguese baby waving his hands more than you would in a nightclub. It's shocking. Lingard is awful, undermining the manager. Like social media lovey. Awful. Stinks to high heaven. Cristiano Ronaldo smiling when we're 3-0 down. It's wrong. There's big problems in that dressing room from top to bottom. But as a season, sickening, disgraceful, shambolic, not fit to wear the shirt, frauds, embarrassing, disgrace, and it's just a PR spin. We get defeat. I mean, look at the season, 5-0 job, 4-1 to Watford. It's poor. And you got this club posting Ten Hag interviews when they should actually be giving it a rest. Let the season digest. Last thing I want to see as a United fan, we just had the worst season of all time. I mean, you think Moyes and Van Gaal's bad. This has been another level. And then you think it's bad, and they're just posting nonsense all the time. PR spin. Ten Hag, he will turn it around. The Dutch professor. Just the worst season of all time in my lifetime supporting this great club. This great club is a shambles. Top to bottom, stinks from the owners to the board to the players to the management. Stinks to high heaven. We've got a football ground that's falling apart. Literally, Old Trafford falling apart. Hasn't seen a lick of paint or refurbishment in years. Yeah, it's just poor. Poor. Honestly, I could sit here and I could be talking for 2 hours the problems of Manchester United. To be honest, I want to forget this season. Didn't even do a match reaction against Palace because it's poor. It's expected now Manchester United will get hammered. And these same idiots that are calling for Ten Hag, we want Ten Hag, they're so happy. They'll be the same idiots calling for him to be sacked if we have a bad start next season. Idiots. And you're part of the problem. If you're screaming for Ten Hag out after one season, you're part of the problem. Because there's no loyalty no more in football. This is not a quick fix. It will be 5 years. I've predicted Premier League, Champions League. We won't be winning that till 2030. It's time for realism and back the manager. Because United are in a huge mess. I'd honestly sell the lot of them apart from 3. That sums up this season. Them United players want to be ashamed of themselves. I don't know how they go home and look in the mirror. Look at their family and kids. How can you look at your family and kids? Like, you'd be honestly sickening. And they come out with these sorry bullshit posts, and the club are posting just shite. They always gloss it. Oh, Rashford's doing great stuff. Elanga gets a Swedish call-up. We've got a Ten Hag interview. Who cares? Who cares about Ten Hag? The season we need a month off. Just digest, forget about this season. And then we go into a new regime. I'm excited about the new regime, but it needs patience. Will it get patience? I don't think so. Because this fan base is very reactionary. Yeah. Ollie had to go. Ralph. And now it's Ten Hag's opportunity. A young manager compared to what we've had. Like an up-and-coming manager. It's exciting. Because we went for the experience. Now we're going for like an up-and-coming manager. It's exciting. But yeah. Wow. Manchester United. Their worst season of all time. Yeah. It's unbelievable, really. It's honestly laughable. You have your worst season of all time. You lose to Palace. And then they actually posting about the new manager. Absolutely sickening. Yeah. Ten Hag needs to be ruthless. He needs to kick the shit out the door pronto. Of course, he can't get rid of every man and his dog. But if Ten Hag's going to be playing Scott McTominay and Fred and the continuation of Harry Maguire, that's one thing that I think needs addressing. That's the first thing Ten Hag should do. Strip Maguire of the armband. That is literally, he comes in the door, that's one thing he should be doing pronto. I actually think Maguire will continue to play. But again, that's another issue of the season. Singling out individuals when it has been a team. Well, I don't get that either. Like, as a club, from everyone, shambles. You see the Glazer protests, they're not really protests, are they? They're half-hearted. Like, we're going to walk out on the 73rd minute, yet no one actually does it. So, people want the Glazers out, but it's like a half-hearted protest. It's not full on, is it? Like the Super League. That was full on. And that's the way you need to go with the Glazers. But yeah, as a season, absolutely sickening. And honestly, them players not fit to wear the shirt. And I'm ashamed to be a Manchester United fan. Love the club through thick and thin. We get labelled as glory hunters, yet we're still here after 5 years of no trophies. So, yeah, you support the club. Anyone can support the club when they're winning. It's in the bad times you show that you're a real fan. But yeah, don't be expecting miracles next season. It's going to be a bumpy ride.